Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our Ideas Edition podcast. And I am so excited today because I have one of my dear friends. I've known this person for a long time. We actually probably started together doing insurance back in the day. And I have the one and only today as a guest, Mitesh Joshi. He is now the broker sales manager for the entire state of Florida for all Elevance brands. So we're talking Freedom, Simply, Optimum brands, brands that we love and represent here at the agency. And I am so excited to have you here, Mitesh, and to learn a little bit about you and what you have done, and so that you can share with our audience as well. So thank you so much for being here today, man.
Thank you, Jorge. Thanks for having me. And thanks for joining today, everyone. And this is great, right? Because we go back from such a long time in this industry, and to go fast forward to where we're sitting today.
Yeah, man. I remember we were working at the phones. I don't want to say how long ago.
Correct.
But man, I remember that's when I initially met you, and I think you got started a little bit before me.
Correct.
Because I remember you were actually a trainer.
Yes.
And for College of Insurance. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about you, how you got started in the insurance business.
Absolutely. So as Jorge mentioned, right, is that we started many, many years ago, and you can see the age in my hair and my beard, right? Jorge's pulling it off better than I am right now.
Yeah, well, I think that is some gray hair now, man. It's I feel you.
Yeah. But to the audience and to everyone is that I started in this business back in 2000. I got my license back in 2009.
Wow.
So just a few years after Part D was implemented in 2006.
Yeah,
right.
I remember.
So it feels like just yesterday, because we'll talk about it in the podcast because there's more changes to Part D coming again. But years ago it was a call center based company, and I was managing a different group at that time, and I had a buddy of mine. He was studying this book every day on his lunch break. So what are you doing? He goes, and he held this 400-page book. It says 215 Florida license book. And he goes, I'm studying to get my insurance license.
Wow.
I said, insurance? Like, nothing here says car, nothing says auto, home. That's all they think. When we think of insurance, we think of
auto, home, car insurance.
We never think about, tomorrow, about health, about life, about how we're going to protect ourselves and our families and our neighbors.
Wow.
Right? And so I said, okay. And he got his license, took the test, then moved into a different building and started taking calls from all over the country. And he goes, Mitesh, this is a life-changing opportunity. I know you're managing a group of tech people. So I was in the tech support side of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So huge difference between insurance and support.
Wow. For the same company.
For the same company.
Okay.
So they had multiple vendors that they supported.
Yeah.
So I got my license, didn't think anything of it. Then I got moved over to that side of the world. And I said, wow, this is great. Like, this is something that can be life-changing. And I saw the vision. Right. And I think there's very few people like yourself that say, I'm going to get my license. I'm going to look into this, but let's see. Right. The average person has 5 jobs.
Right? That's true.
Right. So I'll try this and see what happens. Well, we didn't know that after 2006, this thing was expanding nationally, and there was a need of licensed insurance agents all over the country.
Wow.
And here comes a program where they'll say, hey, Mitesh, we need your expertise not only on the technical side, but we need you to understand, because you understand the sales that go behind that. And I did that for about a year, and they said, we need to move you into human resources right away.
Wow.
And I said, human resources, am I in trouble? That's not a good call, right? But this was the call that said, hey, we're creating a program called the College of Insurance, like you mentioned.
Wow.
We're going to be looking at a time where 2009, 2010, we're coming out of the recession, and we're looking at individuals that may be interested in this. These are former banking individuals coming out of college, maybe people in sales, or have some type of, or just a career change.
Wow.
Right? And so, yeah, we can put something together. So they gave me a little office and says, let's start going over and just start looking for sales or people that have a like-minded background. And let's create an insurance program where we can help them get licensed and then place them with one of our vendors to do that.
Wow.
And funny story, I remember Jorge coming into that office and coming in, and I remember you coming in for that first interview, moving you past that round, finding and then going into the College of Insurance program where I help train, develop, and mentors folks like yourself. And again, full circle, look where we are today.
That is so amazing. Yeah, I remember I got the license thanks to the College of Insurance back in 2011. So 2 years after
I got my license,
you got your license. So that was amazing. And I always saw you. Because I was for the same company. I was working for customer service for one of the carrier vendors. But then they were promoting this College of Insurance stuff. So I'm like, you know what? It's more money. I'm gonna give it a shot. And yeah, fast forward to today, man. The insurance business has really changed. Not only my life, but the lives of a lot of our agents that we help and support now at the agency. So wow.
Yeah,
that is amazing, Mitesh. And now, when did you transition now to working now for Elevance? And I remember, you have some roadmap there. I remember you started working for Freedom, and you actually started moving up pretty quickly. And now look at you. You manage the whole state.
Yeah, absolutely. So great question, right? So so fast forward to, I would say, the biggest boost that we get in our industry is just before AEP, right? Because that's when all the carriers looking to bring on experienced or licensed agents to help really go ahead, and regardless of what company you're working for, this is our biggest recruiting season, you can say as well.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So same buddy of mine that said, hey, I'm getting this license. I'm looking at this company called Freedom Health. I said, never heard of it, but sure, let me go ahead and take it. They're hiring over there for licensed captive agents. I said, what's a captive agent? Like, am I going to be stuck in an office? And he goes, no, you're a career agent, and you're going to be doing this face-to-face and not over the phone. And I said, face-to-face? I don't know if I can do this, but let me see. So he got the job, and the manager at the time, she said, we have a couple spots available. Let me know what you think. If you have any friends or family in the business, I'm more than happy to visit with that person. So here I come in with my little resume. It's all telesales or office setting, not face to face. But Freedom, before it was acquired by Elevance, gave me the first opportunity as a career agent in 2011.
Wow!
To go into the 2012 selling season.
Wow!
Yeah,
wow. That is amazing. And then you worked for a long time. I remember when I did my transition to the field sales. You were already like a Freedom master.
Yes. Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Yeah, and we're still learning, right? This is an everyday business that we're learning.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So master is, hey, I think I've reached the peak. And in our business, I feel like there's not a peak because we're always learning.
We are
always changing, right?
Every year there's changes. We have to be constantly learning. So yeah.
So I appreciate the master, but on our side of the business I was on the career side, and we'll talk about the relationships that we built across the way. But learning as a career agent I think it was a great opportunity, because it's a great, I always say it's a great stepping stone into the independent world.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Awesome.
So if somebody is saying, hey, I've mastered or I've done really well on the career side, what's next? I think that's the next step, is going into an organization like yourself, organizations that look to help cultivate now that relationship between the career side and the self-employed side, I call it.
Wow, that is amazing. And thank you for sharing that. Now, you have moved up with now Elevance,
correct,
right? Such a bigger company. Can you talk to us a little bit about what Elevance is doing to improve our client's life? Like when we put our client with Elevance or with one of the brands, like what can we expect for Elevance to happen to improve our client's life?
Absolutely. So transition from career agent, I even went to the independent side for a few years, and they saw my sales come in and says, come back home. Came back home.
Wow.
Now with the newer manager, and he was like, hey, Mitesh, I feel like there may be an opportunity to manage a team because you're already mentoring. Mentoring, managing kind of goes hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah.
Without a title. And so here I am, fast forward, went to manage the career team under the Elevance brand.
Wow.
For Freedom and Optimum here in Central Florida. And then when we opened up the broker channel, and I remember that conversation with you a few years ago saying, I'm going to take over the broker channel. I saw the smile ear to ear because finally, I have someone from that side of the world.
Wow.
That I can go ahead and we can start helping develop and create opportunities for my agents. I remember you telling me that. And what we've done is going from a Freedom and Optimum company created by Dr. Kiran Patel back in Tampa to now a Fortune 20 company, national.
Wow.
Right. Elevance is a national company. It has the different brands in the different states. If you can make it in Florida, you can make it anywhere.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And 1 in 3 individuals have an Elevance product, whether it be Medicare, Medicaid, or a commercial product.
Wow.
Number 1 in the chronic space market nationally.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah. That is amazing.
So that's just a little bit about, how when you're putting your business, when you're trusting your lives with a Freedom product or an Elevance product or an Optimum product, Simply product, and even our great Health Sun product down in South Florida, it's you're the mothership, I call it, is the Elevance product that's always been around for such a long time nationally.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because you guys do a pretty good job, especially on the chronic space.
Yep.
When we put a client with you guys, you make sure you follow up with the client, make sure you get those forms in so that they don't lose coverage, right? And those chronic verification forms.
Absolutely.
So definitely, thank you for sharing that. I want to jump in a little bit about sales and marketing, especially in this AP season that it's pretty much started already. So what are some of the tips that you can share as far as sales and marketing for our agents?
Absolutely. So sales, you can't have sales without marketing.
Yeah.
Right? You can't. So there's it doesn't matter what industry you work in. You either work in sales or you support sales.
Wow. Can you say that again?
I can say that again.
Yeah.
You either work in sales or you're supporting sales.
So you're always selling.
You're always selling something. You're supporting the sales of the product for the end user.
I love that.
Right? And that's something that you have to keep in mind. So for me, I always look at the 3 pillars. The 3 pillars of marketing. Provider marketing. That's huge. With all the changes that are happening in our industry, for Medicare, provider marketing is, I think, number 1 way, because without the relationship, and you're going to hear me use the word relationship quite a bit today, that's going to be your relationship and help the provider grow, and the provider helps you grow.
Wow.
Right? Number 2, which I've seen it because I've been to all the idea events, kickoffs. I've seen we meet your team at the provider events, is field marketing.
Yeah.
You have to be in the field. I don't care how long you've been, if this is your first day or if this is your 100th day. Field marketing is still is number 1A for me.
Wow.
Right? And I say that because, and I'm sure you have the same feeling, is there's times where your team is out in the field and you can jump right in and help them right away. It does. Once you're out in the fields and you're connecting with the individuals that need your help. And when I say, and field marketing goes into different pillars. That, because you can field market at your local faith-based organizations. You can field market at nonprofit organizations. You can field, and then again, back to provider marketing. You can field market with your provider partners. So that's 2. What a lot of agents forget is number 3. I need to market my book of business.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It's book of business marketing.
Explain us how does that work?
Absolutely. So book of business. Your existing book, you say, Jorge, I just started, only have 10 clients. Great. Are you following up with your clients? Are you making that call with your client? Are you walking them through on how to order their over-the-counter?
Oh, wow.
Right? Why is that such a big thing? We're in a situation where a lot of our members rely on us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
for a lot of help.
Yeah. They rather call us than
Then,
companies
then,
sometimes.
then listen, they rather call us than Spectrum sometimes, right? And no disrespect to Spectrum. I say that because I've walked into a client's house and she goes, "Yeah, I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi is not working." And I've said, "What happened?" He goes, "I don't know. It's just the light's blinking. Let me just,
Let me take care of
unplug it and plug it back in." And guess what? It was working. Something simple. But again, they don't know that process. For something so simple for us, maybe not so simple for someone else in the household. So protecting your book of business and connecting with your book of business will help you get referrals. Because, Jorge, yes, I know when I call him, he picks up the phone. I know that if I have a problem, I can pass his information on to my sister, my brother, my neighbor, or my pastor. And he'll be there for them just like he's been there for me.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That tip was amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, we're getting ready to 2025, and there has been some crazy changes within Inflation Reduction Act and the new M3P program that Medicare rolled out. What are some of the challenges that you think agents might have during this coming up AEP, and what tips can you give them as far as all these changes coming up?
So, if for your listeners that don't know, right? So, in 2022, there was this new Inflation Reduction Act, and that changed the landscape of our business and our industry. You heard me say before, you have to keep learning, right? And I think what the changes are going to be for Part D is verifying with your members, hey, is there a big formulary change this year? Understanding the formulary for 2025. Why? Because there's going to be some huge changes in the formulary where there's going to be a situation where some of your medications that were regular day-to-day medication may not be there anymore for those members, right? I've looked at our formulary for 2025. I think I can say with confidence as of today that our formulary is still one of the strongest formularies for 2025, even with this new Inflation Reduction Act.
Wow.
Where our brands, our 4 brands in Florida are still going to be a brand that you can trust with the new process going on, especially because with the changes of Part D and a $2,000 maximum.
Yeah.
And trying to explain to your member about how the smoothing period is going to work. Yes, that's going to be a great way to hit number 3 marketing. To help and connect with your book of business to get more referrals.
Awesome. Love that. And what we see in this coming AP is that some carriers are already in drug deductibles now because they lowered the maximum out of pocket to $2,000. So it's like, what happens after the $2,000? I have to pay 100% of all their prescriptions. So that's a lot of challenges for the carriers.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that Freedom, Simply, Optimum, HealthSun still have those strong formularies, strong plan designs moving forward. So that is awesome. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
So, I'm going to take you back a little bit on when you were an agent.
Okay.
What are some of those things you did on those first days that you started on field sales to make it happen? Because I think one of the toughest situations for new agents is that now they're ready to sell, now they're appointed, but they don't have a salary, they don't have income coming in. They have to make this business happen. So what are some of the things that you maybe did during that time frame when you were in sales, looking for sales to actually make those sales numbers and live out of this business?
Right, absolutely. So I think that's the number one question we get asked, right? And the great thing is I've been in the field.
Yes.
So I'm glad you asked that question, right? I still remember to this day, and I can tell you because it's right down the street from your access office on the corner of Orange Blossom Trail and OBT. Right? It's a big Walgreens there.
Yeah.
And I remember setting up a table outside of there. And I said, what am I doing? Get a table. I set up my table. I had my giveaways.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm here. It's showing up is the first step.
Wow.
Showing up. You have to show up everywhere you go. and not being discouraged because somebody told you, yeah, I'll take your card and I'll call you later, or no, this is not for me. Why? Because we've heard this 80-20 rule, right? There've been books written on there. There've been studies put on that about this 80-20 rule, even in sales, right? 20% of your sales team is going to write 80% of the business, right? It's also in our industry. We're salespeople, so we love to talk. We need to factor in that we need to use the 80-20 rule in us. We need to do 80% of the listening.
Wow.
Instead of doing 80% of the talking.
That's huge there. Wow.
Yeah.
And I feel sometimes it's backwards.
It is backwards.
The agent talks 80% and the customer only talks 20%.
And you've got nothing out of the member. You haven't even got to their needs analysis. You don't even know what plan they're on.
Wow.
You haven't helped them. So so again, that was going into the field. That was my biggest challenge, is trying to listen more to the needs and addressing those needs versus just selling versus advising.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge feedback.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
And yeah, one of the things is don't get discouraged.
Of course.
That's so true, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I think the 80-20 applies for that too. Like if you contact 100 people, you might get 20 that are interested. The other 80, they're going to say yes, but really they're not that interested. So if you know those numbers, I think the discouragement part of, oh my God, this is not working. I'm not closing sales. I'm not meeting new people. I'm not generating leads. I think it's an easier process. I don't know if that was your experience as well.
I think it's still our experience today. And I say that because in order for me to influence your agents, I have to show up. I have to explain the benefits. My team's got to be there. And again, 80% of your team may say, yes, that's 1 out of 19 carriers I'm contracted with. So I have to understand that I still have to make sure that 80% of your agents may not sell me today. But again, being in the field as an agent, or being in the field in the office, being on this podcast, being out meeting with your team, meeting with everyone that makes this engine go, that I'll get that 20% will start listening and start saying, yeah, you know what? I do feel that I've never sold a Elevance product in 2023, but I guarantee you there's people on your team today that sold their first Elevance product in 2024.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely. A lot of them.
They did. Yes, they did.
Yeah. So, wow. Thank you so much, Mitesh. I'm going to jump in a little bit about maybe things that have helped you throughout your life.
Sure.
So one of the things I always like to ask, any books you want to recommend as far as that has helped you develop sales skills, communication skills, leadership skills that you can recommend to the audience?
So we're in the field. We're always driving. So, I mean, the audiobooks are great and everything, right? But it doesn't matter what you do in life. There's nothing more than just picking up a book and reading it, digesting it, and understanding it.
Wow.
Right? And the book that took me there was a book called Finding Your Why.
Finding Your Why.
Yeah. WHY. Finding Your Why. And this was, I look at him as a mentor to me in this business. And he gave me that book. And it's helped me because it's helped me. If you want to be a leader, it helps you create realistic and how to talk to people about achieving their goals. Because even as a leader, you're still leading yourself. You're still leading your family. So overall, it helps you to be a great listener and identify a clear path to what you want to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing, because I think sometimes we don't have that clarity on what our why is.
Correct.
And sometimes the why is the fuel.
Why is the fuel?
So if that's not clear, a lot of people just give up or don't have the drive or don't have the intentionality to make this happen. So
Correct. So finding your why in life can translate into personal and business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
You talked a little bit about mentor. You had a mentor, throughout your insurance career that has helped you grow.
Yeah.
What would you say the best advice from that mentor was or has been?
Yeah. So that's a great question, right?
Yeah.
Because you always look at people and you say, oh, wow, look what they've done. Look what they've achieved. But it's not what they have achieved or what they've done. It's what they've done to take time out of their accomplishments and actually give you that time and effort and feedback on how you can be a better person.
Wow.
Right? And it doesn't have to be anybody in our business. A mentor can be someone that you just say, hey, it could be a family member. It could be somebody externally, right? Going back. And for me, that person was somebody that was in our industry and believed in me.
Wow.
Right? And encouraged me. And I think that goes a long way, just believing in yourself and having somebody that says, I may not be to teach you everything because there was times where I would tell this person something and he would say, oh, I never looked at it that way. Thank you. But having that open communication goes a long way. And I have that, and I feel like I have that communication door. Just like when I come into this office, you're here, Maria's here. You always have some great people in the office it's that open door policy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And this is a good one. Yeah. If you can change something about this industry, especially Medicare industry, what will it be and why?
That's a good one, Jorge. Because we have to be, we've talked about how long we've been doing this for, right? Yeah. I mean, there was a day where we could just enroll people every day, right? Not wait every 3 months, not figure out what SEP, if there was a hurricane or a tornado or, was there, there's so many different things going on that change our industry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I could change anything, I think it'd be, yes, we have our intentions as insurance agents is to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like we are regulated by CMS, which is great to take those bad apples.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. away from this. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, I think if there's anything I change, it'd be, the way CMS, conducts themselves, knowing that we're here to do the right thing for the member.
Yeah.
And if there was a cleaner or smoother way to do that versus let's not punish the masses.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've seen that in the last few months, where I've never seen so many notifications from CMS about changes in our industry this past year in 2024 than I've ever seen in the last 13 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes like they don't listen to the sales agent and the struggles we go with, because they're not in meeting these people's houses.
Correct.
So we, a lot of that for 2025 kind of gonna stay the same, but they're still pushing some new regulations heavy for, and we'll see what's gonna happen in the future. But I agree with that, man. Yeah. So if I would do something to change that as well.
So we're on the same team, and that's good.
Yeah. So last question.
Yeah.
If you were talking to the 20-year-old Mitesh, what advice would you give him and why?
What took you so long to get this insurance license? That's the $1 million question, right? And literally, it can be $1 million answer. And I say this because I got my insurance license when I in my late 20s. So for me is just even 8, 9, 10 years before that, had I it's coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Mm-hmm. But it's timing.
Yeah, but right? Did you know about it?
I did know about it.
Okay,
so yeah. I did know about it.
Yeah.
But it was for me to go from one job in Lake Mary to go to support a technical team in Orlando to meet this person.
Wow.
To tell me, hey, you need to get your license. I see something in you, and that I think you'd be great at this.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So
and you trusted that.
I trusted that, and I trusted. And sometimes, as humans, we have these defense walls. Mm-hmm. So the 20-something-year-old Mitesh, as we all have done in our 20s, their defense walls are very light. Let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Versus being different as we get older and having a lot more putting our guards up. So, but the 20-year-old Mitesh, if the opportunity was there, if I had, I would have jumped on into this opportunity because again, if you dedicate, and I can tell you this just because the time that we spent together going into this industry, if you dedicate a good 3 to 5 years in this business, Jorge,
yes.
I mean, but again, it's timing, right? Because the 20-year-old Jorge or the 20-year-old Mitesh may not be, we could do this for ourselves, but there was a reason, there was a purpose for us to get it in a certain time of life so we could enrich other people's lives.
Wow. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
That's huge. Thank you. Any final thoughts or comment for our agents for this AP season?
Yeah, so we're coming into our annual enrollment period. So again, when it comes to, a brand that you can trust, a brand that you can rely on just by listening to what you've heard today, we have over 20 sales support people in Florida. When in Florida, while you may hear about, scaling back a lot, we've scaled to a situation where we have support for the whole state of Florida.
That is amazing.
So if we're here for you, that means you're going to be there for your clients. And if you're there for your clients, you're going to continue to help reach your goal. And again, we are, to this day, as of right now, as of today's podcast, we still hold 2 5-star plans in our portfolio in Florida with our Optimum Health Sum product.
That's amazing.
So going into next year, still the leaders in the chronic special needs plan, very aggressive dual market. And again, great relationships with our provider partners where things are changing. We're changing for the better and continuing to add providers and continue to grow our provider book.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mitesh, for your time. You have been an amazing asset for us, and also what we experience with Elevance and your whole entire team is just that support that you mentioned as far as the trainings, make sure we have giveaways, the support you give us in so many ways. We appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much for your time. And again, to you and your team, you've done a fantastic job. So I commend you today, and I guarantee you I see a great partnership with us for 2025.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So with that, we have finished our Ideas Edition podcast for today. Didn't you have fun with Mitesh? Man, I learned so much from him. I've known him for a long time. We started back together in this business. So, and if you don't have your insurance license and you're listening to this, what are you waiting for? Make sure you give us a call. Make sure we can get you license so that you can start this amazing career. We're here to support all of our agents and brokers. And hey, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next Ideas Edition podcast.